Hello everyone, thank you for asking me to join in your assembly this morning. My name's Reverend Roscoe and I understand that you've been learning about people who are either brave or special in the Old Testament. Well, one thing to understand about the Old Testament is it is actually most of the Bible. So if you consider this Bible here, that bit's the Old Testament and that bit's the New Testament. And the Old Testament is full of stories about amazing people who sometimes listened to God, sometimes didn't listen to God, but realised they should have done afterwards. And one of my favourite stories is about someone who at first didn't actually do the right thing. He didn't do what God wanted him to do. But he realised he didn't, and then he decided to ask God to help him to do the right thing. And that's why I think this person is a really good person to learn the story of, because actually, if we think about it, that's what most of us are like most of the time. Most of us aren't brave or strong or don't think twice about doing things like some of the heroes that we might hear about in the Bible or otherwise. Most of us make mistakes, but try to learn from the mistakes and try to do the right thing. So I'm going to tell you the story now of Jonah. Now you might have heard this story about Jonah because something very, very, very unusual happened to Jonah. Jonah and the... I nearly said it, but wait a second and you'll find out what it is. So Jonah lived about 300 years before Jesus, and the people who lived in Israel then were pretty sure of their place in the world. They were pretty sure that God had them as their special people. They were pretty sure that they were doing the right thing. And one of the most pretty sure people of them all was Jonah. He thought he was really good. He thought that all the other countries in the world were rubbish and not part of what God wanted to do at all, and only the people of Israel did what God wanted to do. But one day, God had something special in store for Jonah, because God spoke to Jonah and he said, Jonah, I know you tried to do the right thing here in Israel, and I know the Israelites do the right thing, but I want everyone in the world to do that as well. So I want you to go to a very, very, very dangerous and wicked city called Nineveh. And I want you to tell all those people about me and say how much better things would be if you did the right thing and followed what I want, what God wants. So this is what I mean about Jonah being a bit really like most of us, because Jonah didn't want to do that. In fact, instead of going over there to Nineveh, Jonah went over there, the completely different direction. In fact, he ran off. He ran off to a city called Joppa. And not only that, at Joppa, he got on a boat and went even further away, heading to a city right on the other side of the Mediterranean called Tarshish. Well, God wasn't finished with Jonah then. Because what God did is follow Jonah. He didn't let him get away because he knew Jonah could do something special. And he followed him in the shape of a storm. Now this terrible storm followed this boat, and it rocked it this way and it rocked it that way, and it nearly tipped it over this way and it nearly tipped it over that way. And Jonah, what do you think he was doing all this time? Well, he was sure that God protected him, so he was asleep downstairs. All the sailors, however, were not that confident, and they woke Jonah up and they said, Jonah, Jonah, pray to your God to help us. Because already Jonah was away from the people of Israel. So Jonah realised what had happened, and he realised that God had sent this storm and that these poor people on the boat were all going to perish, they're all going to drown because of him. And here's the first thing, the special thing that Jonah did. He put those people before himself. And he said, throw me over. I've brought this upon you by turning away from God, by doing what God doesn't want me to do, and not doing what God does want me to do. Throw me into the water, that's all I deserve. The sailors didn't want to do that, but Jonah said, if you don't do it, you're all going to drown. So Jonah gave himself to save all of those other sailors. That's the first thing Jonah did. But God wasn't finished with Jonah, because as well as sending a storm, he sent something else. And this is what most people know about the story of Jonah. Jonah and the whale. Because as soon as Jonah had been thrown over the boat, a huge great whale came, can you see, and swallowed him up. And Jonah, can you see the expression on Jonah's face? He thinks, well, not only am I not going to be in the water, I'm going to be inside this huge whale. Can you see how frightened he is? And with good reason as well. The thing is, though, about people being swallowed by whales, and scientists have proved this, and historians have found lots of examples of it, is they can survive in a whale, because it's so big, for a certain length of time. And Jonah stayed inside the whale, alive, in darkness, for 3 whole days. And this is the second thing that Jonah did. Jonah prayed to God. And he prayed to God to say, God, please help me. If you help me, I promise I will do the right thing. And God heard his prayer, because God wasn't finished with Jonah. This is another good thing about this story. It shows that God follows us and he never lets go of us no matter what we do. And this is what happened. The whale swam all the way to Nineveh, the city that Jonah should have gone to in the first place. And the whale went up to the shore and spat Jonah out. Spat him out on the beach and said, there, go and do the right thing. And if Jonah had have just done the right thing, he wouldn't have been in the boat, he wouldn't have been in the storm, he wouldn't have been in the whale. But there he was with the opportunity to do the right thing in the end. And Jonah told the people of Nineveh all about God. And the people of Nineveh heard what Jonah was saying. And they all decided they were going to follow God and join in all the good things that the people of Israel were enjoying. But in this way, God was showing they didn't want just to keep those to themselves, but to spread them out for everyone. And in the New Testament, Jesus responds to people who say, give us a sign, Jesus, that you're from God. And Jesus says, the only sign you're going to get is the sign of Jonah. The sign of Jonah, which is, just do the right thing. If you don't, you can make mistakes, you can learn from the mistakes, and in that darkness of the whale, you can pray to God, and God will help you. Well, that's one of my favourite stories, Jonah and the whale. But I've not finished this assembly yet, because, now, teachers, you might want to pause it just at the moment, because what I would like to do is a quiz. And I want the children to write down the answers to 5 questions. So if you need to pause the video, you pause it now. Okay, here's the quiz. So this will tell how well you've... And I know Francis always listen really, really well. I'm always really impressed about how well you all sit and perfectly and lovely and listen. So I'm sure you've been listening, whether you're at school or you're at home. Here's the Jonah quiz. Question 1. God told his people, the Israelites, that they were to be a light for the world. Did he want them to keep it for themselves, or did he want them to share it? Okay, that's a nice easy one to start. Keep it for themselves or share it. Question 2. Where did God tell Jonah he was to go to tell the people about God? Which city? Okay, which city? Question 3. Instead of going there, where did Jonah run off to? Question 4. What did Jonah do there? And question 5. What did the whale do with Jonah? Okay, so think about those questions. Here's the answer. Number 1, share it. God wanted people to share all the good things they knew about him. Number 2, Nineveh. He wanted Jonah to go to Nineveh. Number 3, I'll accept 2 answers here. Joppa or Tarshish, because he went to Joppa first and he was trying to run after Tarshish. Number 4, he got on a boat and went even further away. He was trying to run away from what God wanted. And number 5, spat him out at Nineveh. The whale spat Jonah out and said, this is where you should have been in the first place. Well, I'm sure you've all got those questions right. If you've not got them right, you have the opportunity to listen to this whole story again and take the quiz again. I hope you've enjoyed learning all about Jonah, and I hope you've also enjoyed learning that to be a special person doesn't always mean you've got to do everything perfect and get everything right first time. What God wants for us is to get it right in the end, to learn from mistakes, but to do what He wants us to do. Have a lovely day, everybody, and God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.